that
is.
movie just crushed my soul because I bought into it so hard. And it's the story of time. It happens over and over again. You have a struggling artist that's so brilliantly talented and for whatever reason just can't get out of his own way and, overdoses or kills himself or however, but it's tragic. Hi, and welcome to Girls Gone Gritty. We're in our Bring It On studios where we're going to bring to you an exciting episode today about movies and how they can become the soundtrack of your life. And a lot of times it's music-based movies, music biopics, anything that really revolves around music. It could be about the artist, it could be about the band, about Broadway shows, whatever floats your boat. But before we get to that, Jen is going to announce our top 3 today.
Some of them might be a little bit scary. Number 3, chatbots, therapy bots, grief bots. Oh my. Has AI continued to take over? I know this is a common theme we have every week.
How can they even give you any advice when they have no feelings? How can they give you any type of support when they haven't walked a mile in human shoes and felt any emotion?
Yeah, it's crazy. I think I would go to my medium to talk to the dead instead of a robot. I'm like, how are you tuning in? They're crazy. The robots are taking off.
How are they going to connect us to people that we love? How are they?
I don't get it.
I don't even understand it.
Well, I mean, when they come into the hospital, you see a robot come in. I'm like, I don't want to talk to a robot.
Well, if you take it out from where you call into a call center and you get an automatic person that's taking your call and they say to select 1, select 2. We all thought that was crazy town 10 years ago. And that has become the norm. So they're just taking that to the next level where they're anticipating what your response is. They're also going through and seeing what your issues have been or what this person did with their life and getting the information they have across the World Wide Web because everything's digitized. So there's a lot of information that they're using to get a curated response based on past information.
So here you go. Pick up the phone. Hello. Select 1 if you'd like to talk to your dead dog. Select 2 if you'd like to talk to your dead dad. And select 1 if you'd like to talk to God.
Number 2, get your glasses ready. European scientists create the first totality in a solar eclipse. So solar eclipses are now manufactured by man.
Why would anybody even want to do that? Unless from a scientific standpoint, it benefits us from some angle.
Well, you figure we just talked about conspiracy theories of cloud seeding.
There must be some benefit.
There has to be a benefit within what they're trying to do is prove that they can do anything. And that's scary because what happens when you put the world into complete darkness? What are the pros? What are the cons? Because in complete darkness, unplug it.
Science is science and they're moving quick. So let's continue with something a little lighter as our number 1 F1 failure in Times Square. People are crying foul on Simone Ashley being edited out, the most recent release.
It was a movie that took place from Montreal to New York.
F1,
it's Formula Racing movie.
Yeah. The F1 had a Canadian championship that was in Montreal, and all the F1 racers in a pomp and circumstance, big movie, Hollywood-esque way, took this race down from Montreal and landed in Times Square. They all took the cars to Times Square, where I had this tremendous photo op and the actual movie premiere. But most of the F1 racers had already seen the movie in Monaco. So most of them didn't stay. But the real buzz was this actress who's of British Indian descent and also a female getting nixed in a lot of it. And her character being just a cameo.
That's show business. That's what they say. Either she didn't do a good job or the part didn't fit or there's so many things that happen in Hollywood.
She's Indian. You just
they would. I think if female and Indian, we're past that.
Well, Bollywood
is past that. We hope so.
They wouldn't have cast her in the first place and given her the money and taken the time to put her in the movie.
But that's why it becomes even more sensitive that it's a woman and that she's an Indian and
they're just looking for something.
Well, the great thing is that she's not.
She took it very well, which is great.
She took the higher road.
Because if you badmouth it, you'll never be put in another Hollywood movie again. Think about all the other actors and actresses that have parts and they got cut. They're just looking for drama.
Wow.
But hats off to her for not crying foul. Be put in the next movie.
The movie is F1 and it stars Brad Pitt. So that's a reason to go as far as
I want to see it because I want to go because it's F1. I love race cars. and anything with race cars.
So that's a good summer movie for you to see currently. And we're going to give you some fun movies to continue your summer with and maybe take you through a little journey of sound, as Farley alluded to in the beginning of the episode, and to the movies that inspired us in our youth and that continue to inspire and remind and transport us in time.
Like sports.
You know what's been fun, ladies, is when we grew up, you had all the favorite movies. You had Grease. You had Rocky. My favorite is Animal House by far because we have a toga party every year and we go off of the Animal House theme.
Right?
I use the soundtrack.
There's a soundtrack
for Animal House.
Yeah, think of
I
all
need
the
to listen
songs.
to Toga.
Right? It's a nice soundtrack. I don't know. I guess I always pick all the songs from it. But now I'm in a Disney world because of Dee.
Of course.
Yeah. Oh, that
Those
was
are
the
good.
soundtrack of my life for a long time.
Those are good.
I
ones.
still love Frozen, and Pitch Perfect was my girls, all three of them, their favorite movies. And we would get in the car
so good.
and we would listen to the Pitch Perfect soundtrack wherever we went. And every single kid in the car would sing along to it. So I recommend that if you haven't seen Pitch Perfect, it's a good time for the whole family.
Well, it's Pitch
and you'll
Perfect.
be obsessed with the music.
I feel like you watch movies and you get songs. Like the songs are what make the movie, and that's your memory.
To your point, Darian, I go back and I look at movies like The Sound of Music. That movie was 1965, so preceded my birth and a lot of people in our listening audience's birth, yet still is so empowering and iconic. And the music is Julie Andrews. I didn't realize that Mary Poppins, another favorite Disney movie that is Julie Andrews. Do you know that it was the year before?
Dee has not seen it yet. We have not seen it.
It's a great movie.
And
it's a great family movie.
You need family movies because the movies these days are mind-blowing.
We watched it recently, and I used to wait for it to come out every year.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't something that you could set your DVR to or go rent. It was just a fact. Every year, The Wizard of Oz would come on. Every year, The Sound of Music came on. And Pat and I and Abby were watching it. And I looked at my husband's face, who was so sucked in. And it might have been the first time that he watched it from front to back. And we had a wonderful family moment in that we appreciated not only doe a deer, a female deer, and all of us were singing it. But he was like, wow, she took the curtain and she made their play clothes. And, then there's history. It's such a fabulous.
But I think
they ran away from Hitler.
Old school movies just had more culture, sophistication, a better storyline. What was the West Side Story?
Oh, see, I tried to watch that again.
I love it.
And I couldn't. This is the other thing that I think is interesting for like going backwards is that sometimes I remember them differently. And I remember watching West Side Story at one point. I think it was with my grandparents and I think I was more excited about the moment with my grandparents because when I watch the movie now, I'm like, wow, it's like long.
Yeah, but it's Romeo and Juliet.
I know, but when's the last time you watched it?
That's like Singing in the Rain in 1952. Growing up with my parents, we watched that.
Amazing movie.
That's true. And I was a tap dancer. So I was really.
Wait, I didn't know you were a tap dancer.
I took tap for 5 years.
I took tap. I love tap.
I can still tap.
Okay, we're gonna have to get a clip of these two tap dancing at one time.
Yeah, those are like timeless classics. Or have the animation movies. My favorite are Slapstick, Tommy Boy. I mean, my movies are.
Is there a soundtrack for Tommy?
No, there's not. But I'm just saying in general. But
I'm getting confused.
Sorry. Okay, I didn't mean soundtrack. So so Dirty Dancing. Who does not love Dirty Dancing? And
I loved Patrick Swayze.
You run and you just want to like airtime. I wish Jeff could like run and airtime.
Massive plastic surgery post that. She does not even look like herself.
Yeah, she had her nose done, and then her whole Hollywood career went to pot because they liked her. They liked her look, which
they did.
Plastic surgery is just.
I'll tell you another magical moment that I shared with my husband was suckering him into going to see The Greatest Showman.
Oh, best movie ever.
That is one of my favorite movies.
Best
I could watch
ever.
it. I could listen to the music over and over again. In fact, I do.
It's
on my playlist. But the very first opening song, Pat looks at me and he goes, "Is this a musical?" Really was a musical, and at that moment, I realized it was a musical, and I know it was so hysterical that he was captive.
Big comfy chairs at AMC.
Yes, when you're a captive audience, he was basically a prisoner. If you have not seen that or listened to that music, everybody contributed to the soundtrack. It's fantastic. It's like Pink. My kids are like, "Mom, enough with The Greatest Showman, and like people participated in the soundtrack.
There was a reimagined Greatest Showman that Panic at the Disco did, Pink did, Willow Sage Hart did. They reimagined the whole album. Kelly Clarkson did Never Enough. Zach Brown did one.
A Million Dreams was the most popular, widely streamed song. Mm-hmm. And This Is Me.
So ladies, what's really fun is when you see movies like Mamma Mia and you have ABBA in there. I love ABBA. Disco, and
Mamma
all of a
Mia
sudden
became a huge
it was huge. It makes you want to go to Greece.
I feel like it
And
became
she's just
flash
cool.
mob thing
Yeah.
everywhere.
The whole story is, it's sweet. It's super fun. It's light. And then they take it to Broadway. So then we saw it on Broadway and it was just a whole different show. And I just love the soundtrack and you always sing along with it. And just a fun, feel good movie.
Well,
and it's timeless.
It became cult like.
And that movie
It's
was
timeless.
created around ABBA's music, right?
Correct.
Like, it was the storyline was threaded after the music had already been complete, unlike a lot of the movies like The Greatest Showman, where the music was helped tell the story.
Of P.T. Barnum and the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus, which I grew up in Venice, Florida, and that is where they wintered. And that's where we have the original Barnum Arena. And it just got taken down, and the animals would march over our bridge when they would get off of the train. So it's a part of my life and my history, which is why I was so compelled by that movie.
Well, the best all-time soundtrack to go along with the movie. You ready? Saturday Night Fever. Doesn't get any better.
Was that actually the biggest statistical #1 selling soundtrack?
I don't know.
It was.
In my wheelhouse, it was my favorite because I love disco. And it just brought so much from these movies.
Good.
You get fashion.
I'm looking at
I think that.
Oh, I don't know I don't know. I didn't research it.
It changed everything. No, but to your point, it totally changed everything.
Movies come in and all of a sudden you get music from them. You get fashion when you have timepieces. We want to have a Saturday Night Fever party this year instead of a toga party. And Jeff has no bid on it. For years we've been wanting to. I'm like, Jeff, we've done toga. We've had Animal House on the big screen along with Big Wednesday on the other one and all the songs that go with that.
Let's go do disco soundtrack was of all times.
What?
I agree.
I do. I looked it up.
What?
I do. It's Bodyguard.
It is.
It's Bodyguard.
It's Bodyguard.
Love favorite.
Well, because everybody was obsessed with Whitney Houston.
True.
And Kevin Costner at that time. And
I think they actually really did have a love affair.
I think they did.
I think that there was major chemistry.
When the song,
they're both beautiful.
Always
we used to sing the song
you
and watch it
all the time. But anytime it comes on, still to this day, I call Michaela and sing it at the top of my lungs from start to finish. It's our song.
Oh,
and
gosh.
we sang it
car so many times when you guys are dueling banjos with it.
I stinking singing. She has a great voice, at least. And I will love you.
That's so true. And then Brucey and Pat torture each other with I still won't go. I let him go. The Queen.
Queen. Yes.
Mamma Mia,
Rhapsody.
Mamma Mia.
Rhapsody.
They
yes.
call
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
If they hear it on a radio, one will call and sing one lyric so that it gets stuck in your head.
Yes.
And you know how that phenomenon is. You sing it all day long and you're tortured by it. And so that is their torturous song to each other. And it gets in your head and it doesn't leave.
We do that. We would paddle out. And it's my favorite thing in the world is to paddle out and all my brothers are there. And family member will throw a song out there and it's in your head for the entire time. And it drives you absolutely bonkers because there's always a song you don't want to have in your head.
And that's
the whole entire surf sesh.
That's it. And it's going to be in my head for the rest of the night.
Completely. And all of your, but I thought that was so cool. And that the Bohemian Rhapsody with that song in particular about how nobody wanted them to do it and how they completely followed their heart and said, no, this is going to be a musical masterpiece. And this is our experimentation. And it's what we want to do. I love I think we said that there were biopics. Did we mention that?
Yeah.
Like, I love the music biopics that get you into the artist's brain and where they were. And especially when a lot of these artists are still alive. When I watched Elvis, another my favorite musical movies, like that one breaks my heart.
It is hard.
That one breaks my heart because you see how he was so manipulated.
So talented and so lost.
lost. Well, Johnny Cash, one of my favorite singers out there, Ring of Fire, and you just see their
Walking
stories.
the Line.
Walking the Line was
I know
great.
it's called
no,
Walking the Line.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a great movie, but it's you go through what these musicians, their life, their paths, and it wasn't long lived.
No.
And we spoke about Bob Marley, his whole all his movies. It's heart wrenching.
A Star Is Born.
Stars.
Talk about
oh my
heart-wrenching.
gosh,
that movie was just crushed my soul because I bought into it so hard, and it's the story of time. It happens over and over again. You have a struggling artist that's so brilliantly talented, and for whatever reason just can't get out of his own way, and overdoses or kills himself or however. But it's tragic. But that movie was so phenomenal.
It
haunted
on.
me.
Haunted.
And that soundtrack I live for.
It's Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper actually sang some of the music.
Yeah, right.
Like he had a great voice too.
Her voice is mesmerizing. It goes through you because you watch her journey and so much suffering to then you make it, but you hope you make it. And so many of these musicians have this path of you struggle to make it, then you make it, and it's like boom, let's party, your life has changed, your success, and then there's so many ups and downs, and like their ups and downs are so different than ours,
right?
But the movies portray just perfect, spot on pictures of their life.
And I didn't go back, but I know that I think, and we'll have to fact check this, but I think Cher was the original. They did it. It was a movie from the 70s, and Cher was the star alongside somebody else that was super famous. I feel.
Ooh, I have to
yeah,
see
and it got a critical acclaim too. And
people didn't want it to be redone because they didn't think that it could be done better. And I feel like
it was a tearjerker.
It was amazing.
It was more modern. One. I also have to say Daisy and the Six, which basically portrays. Oh my God, it's so fantastic.
Put that on my list.
It's a series, so it's not just a movie. But Daisy and the Six really goes back, and it follows Stevie Nicks. And it's a beautiful story of.
I love Stevie Nicks, Belladonna, her voice. Oh, so beautiful.
So, yeah, it's all about Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham's love affair that they had. And they were both taken. Well, Lindsey was married. And
to people in the band, right? Wasn't it Christina McVie?
You know what?
Like, I feel like there was like some like love triangle-y thing that went on with Fleetwood Mac.
Well, it was definitely Stevie and Lindsey. The way that it's portrayed in Daisy and the Six, it just was a toxic situation that couldn't happen. And Lindsey was spoken for, and Stevie was this free spirit, bohemian, beautiful nut job that would have been absolutely toxic for him because she was partying and still kind of doing her thing. But they recognized each other's craft and they butted heads. But what they collaborated, and it didn't even become something that they were consensually collaborating. It just became magic. And it was very hard to denounce their chemistry on stage. And it translated into everything they did. And it's why they broke up. It's why the band broke up. And Rumors is written all about that time frame. So
I didn't know that because I love that. That's a great album.
The Rumors album came out of this whole insanity. And then you look at Almost Famous, which was another one of my favorite.
We just rewatched that. That's great.
And here you've got Cameron Crowe's true journey of trying to work for Rolling Stone magazine. And he genuinely got to go on the road with Led Zeppelin. And, Penny Trumbull, who is Kate Hudson, as one of the ultimate groupies.
The best.
Penny Trumbull actually started a group of girls that were considered to be groupies, but they actually were publicists and tried to, generate publicity for each band. That's how they became tight with the bands. They did it for about 3 years. She was a philanthropist and a socialite and lived in Portland, Oregon, and just came up with this idea. They each gave themselves names, fictitious names that became their personas, and she really crushed it. So it wasn't just like they were sleeping with everybody and, cruising around as groupies. They were actually doing band promotions and did a very good job of it for like 3 or 4 years.
That's amazing. You know what?
That soundtrack is epic.
It's funny too, because we watched that recently with the kids, and it again, it's interesting how it translates to kids. Had a completely different lens on it after we watched it and talked about it. And it was,
what did they say?
It was not positive. They were like, I can't believe the mother let the son go do this, that she's irresponsible. Swear to God, they had a completely different lens on it. They did not like it. They were completely This is not the way that this would have gone down. They didn't, like, in disbelief.
Wow.
And
That's the time. That was the time
but
period.
they don't understand that.
Yeah.
They don't understand how much stuff has changed. They don't understand that
free love, hippie,
Free
yeah,
hippies,
and there was no way to
70s
track your
and
kid. You had to
60s,
trust,
right?
and you let your
They had to
child go
use a
do.
payphone and
Yes.
and reach out to you.
trust. That was something you didn't have
Yeah.
spotters.
Well,
and
we weren't
more-
micromanaging.
That's what I mean.
Totally. But
More
wait,
freedom.
what about, I know Farley, you've mentioned this movie a bunch of times because it's iconic in our time period. It's Purple Rain.
I
Oh,
read
I
a little bit
love
about
Prince.
that. It really isn't Prince's journey. I really thought it was. And it's not an autobiography on Prince. I was surprised because I did a little due diligence because obviously that soundtrack is sick.
Yeah.
And I really thought, okay, this must be him. But once again, it's almost in the genre of struggling artist going through pain, ridiculously talented, and how he's going to come out on the other side. So it's not really a movie about Prince's life.
Oh
Bits
my
and
goodness.
pieces are, but he took bits and pieces of other iconic stories similar to his in the music realm, and that's what it came to be.
He
Those-
used his poetic license completely.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
that album was ridiculous.
But I love how those are the movies that we grew up to. Now with Dee Dee, you have the Descendants 1, 2, 3, which is the best soundtrack ever. And
I don't
it's
know that.
I don't
vibrant.
know that.
Oh, it's so much fun. It's dancing and colorful and great stories. Yeah, there's 3 of them. I mean, for kids, a Disney one. And then we have Moana that everybody wants
Love
to
Moana.
sing.
1 and 2.
And it just goes on and on. So it's
Love.
totally different. When we grew up, I would watch those movies, and now, let's do Descendants, Dee Dee.
Ooh,
And his Descendants, like,
I was thinking it was a Leo DiCaprio.
is it,
No,
is it a
it's
musical?
It's a musical.
It is a musical.
It's all singing and dancing and storyline, and it just makes you want to go. I wish they would make that a Broadway show because it would sell out
Oh, it's gonna happen.
They probably.
for sure.
It's
Agreed.
in development.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we hope
Anytime
so.
we have a great idea, it's already being done or it's up and coming.
Yes.
All right. And we would be remiss not to mention, let's see, Flashdance.
Oh my gosh, how did I forget that one?
What a feeling. It's like a wedding song. It's
Mhm.
It was style.
transcendent.
It was iconic.
it-
The off the shoulder sweatshirt.
That's when I was modeling with Ford, and that was my crossroads. We had Flashdance the movie, and I was auditioning for the New York School of Performing Arts or going to Green Mountain Valley School. So if I went left, I would have been Flashdance because that's what I always watched. Or right, I'll be Ski Racer and broken and beat up and great life. So obviously the fork went right, but I really wanted to go to that school.
And that came out at the same time frame as like Footloose.
It did.
And Footloose was iconic as well because I
Mhm.
couldn't believe that there were certain areas or religions that wouldn't allow you to listen to music and people had
Crazy.
to sneak it. And I thought, thank God I'm not, from that culture and my parents weren't looking at me and watching everything that I consumed from a music standpoint.
Oh God.
And I love the fact that you take somebody like in that movie that was like Kenny Loggins, and you look at that time period, and he was in Caddyshack.
Caddyshack.
He wrote the soundtrack. He wrote a lot of the soundtrack for Caddyshack. A lot of these really iconic movies. If you
I
dig
didn't
deep,
know that. And that's
you
one of
go
my
back
favorite movies.
and you think
Love
about who was
Caddyshack.
participating in it, and it's a couple of the same people. Like
Wow.
they were really a very few people that got into that business at that time.
I remember when I first started dating Pat, I had a lot of soundtracks. I'm a soundtrack girl. And he goes, "Are you a soundtrack junkie?"
Come on.
And I just said, there's certain movies that I can listen to it from front to back. And he just thought it was so weird that I liked soundtracks.
Well, you can say to him, go back to episode 60 because he was a supplement junkie in that episode. So you could be
Yes.
the soundtrack
All right,
junkie.
well, some of my
he could be the
soundtracks,
supplement junkie.
That is so true.
yeah, were old school hip hop movies like Juice.
Oh my
and
God,
I mean,
8 Mile.
Oh,
yeah.
That was I recently watched that again because I wanted to go back and learn more about Eminem because I think he's so incredibly talented.
Mhm.
And the way he had to come from being this white boy in a industry that he did not belong in, and he crushed it. And
Love Eminem.
just being spontaneous and being able to stand up and throw down and have a crowd that wanted you to fail, and he won was
Mhm.
pretty insane. Straight out of Compton.
Oh, straight out of Compton. We could go on and on, ladies, on and on.
His son actually played him. Ice Cube's son is the actor that played his father in that movie.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
I
Yeah.
love the feel good stories. And I have a really good feel good story, Gritmaker, this week.
Getting jiggy with it.
Ooh. I know who this is.
I know, Farley. You were the one who turned me on to.
Crush on him, kind of.
I mean,
he's adorable.
Seeing the story in the video, it's on YouTube,
and we will post it because you will all just be mesmerized.
Brings tears to your eyes. So I do a lot of work with various adaptive foundations, High Fives being one of them, and we have Hunter Woodhall. To tee it off, here is his quote. They say I'd never walk, so I learned to run instead. Who at age 11 months had both of his legs put in casts, legs broken. And they say, we have to amputate both your feet because you haven't learned to walk. And this way you'll learn to walk with prosthetics. Hunter didn't succumb. He fought back. He was bullied as he grew up. He was told that he was different. And then he found running. Here you have this strapping man that has no feet, but he runs with prosthetics and he's fast. And he fought tooth and nail to become one of the best runners. Said that bad things happen in life. Bad things may be a blessing in life. And you take someone who goes and never says no. And that's why Hunter Woodhall is our Gritmaker of the week, because he never succumbed to the pressure. And
he doesn't even consider himself handicapped.
You learn to adapt. And that's what he did. He learned to adapt to what his circumstances were. Because look,
and prevail.
God gives you so much. And the journey isn't always about successes. It's about what you can handle and how you adapt to that situation.
I love this guy. He's fantastic. And he's a role model for everybody.
Yes.
Yeah. Everything he says, you just want to be a little bit more like him. And thank you so much for putting him on our radar and letting us understand that we got to be happy with what we get and make the best out of what we have.
Yes. And what's our song of the week?
What's
Come on for some music.
Farley.
Okay.
Is it going to be something from The Greatest Showman?
You know what? No, definitely is not. But I do have several options that I could pull out of my bag of tricks in weeks to come. This is my right now song. I love it. I think I listen to it 55 times a day. Sometimes when I'm in the mood, I just like everything about it. So I'm going to read the refrain that gets repeated and repeated. My kids like it. I played it on the way to Vermont. I played it on the way back, and the whole entire van was singing it. Because I'm too messy, and then I'm too fucking clean. You told me, get a job. Then you asked where the hell I've been. I'm too perfect till I open my big mouth. I want to be me. Is that not allowed? And I'm too clever, and then I'm too fucking dumb. You hate when I cry, unless it's that time of the month. And I'm too perfect till I show you that I'm not. 1,000 people I could be for you, and you hate the fucking lot.
It's Dee Dee's favorite song.
I mean,
oh my gosh,
the profanity people, but I don't know.
She's making a point. She's using it to make it a point.
And I'm too fucking clean.
You put this on my radar. It's
called
name
Messy.
Is Messy.
It's Messy.
It's by Lola Young, and I just love it because no one's perfect and everybody is messy, and it's just the perfect song because it's real.
Yeah, and life is messy.
Yeah,
and sometimes
messy.
So I understand that there's some profanity in it, and maybe you can get the clean version if you want to, but I guarantee you your kids know this song already, and they're definitely taking advantage of being able to say the F-bomb.
Oh, we have the clean version.
You have the clean version? Amazing.
Maybe not. What?
So thank you so much for tuning in to Girls Gone Gritty, and we hope that you'll join us next week.
Go out and get some sunshine because I'm going right now. Peace out.
Peace.
Bye.